It happened so fast you almost didn't believe it. 1 second your toddler is right there, playing, laughing, being their completely normal little self. And then, out of nowhere, they bite or hit. Maybe it was their friend at the playground. Maybe it was you. Maybe it was the baby. And the scream that follows isn't just from whoever got hurt. Part of it is coming from somewhere inside you. Because this is the 3rd time this week. And you are so tired of saying you're sorry to other parents. Tired of the look you get in the playgroup. Tired of wondering if something is seriously wrong with your kid, or worse, with your parenting. So you've tried what everyone told you to try. You sat them down and explained that biting hurts. You did timeouts. You raised your voice. Maybe you bit them back. Yes, people actually recommend this because someone said they needed to feel what it felt like. You've read the articles. You bought the book. You've Googled, why does my toddler bite at 11 p.m. more times than you'd like to admit? And still, it keeps happening. Here's what nobody is telling you. Your reaction, the completely understandable, totally natural reaction you're having in the moment, might be the very thing keeping this behavior going. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because you're doing exactly what your instincts tell you to do. And in this particular situation, your instincts are working against you. Tonight, we change that. Before we get into exactly what's driving this behavior, if your toddler has been hitting or biting and you're running out of ideas, hit that like button and subscribe for more research-backed parenting strategies. Drop "I'm at my limit" in the comments if this is your life right now. You are not alone. Let's get into it. I had a friend call me once. Good parent, incredibly devoted. After her daughter bit a kid at preschool, she wasn't even calling to ask for advice. She just needed to say it out loud to someone who wouldn't judge her. She said, "I don't know what I'm doing wrong," and that's what broke my heart. Because she wasn't doing anything wrong. That feeling, that specific cocktail of embarrassment and self-doubt and exhaustion, is something I hear constantly from parents going through exactly this. And every single one of them is carrying it like it means something about them. It doesn't. You've probably received a mountain of conflicting advice. Ignore it completely. No, wait, acknowledge it firmly. Time out every single time. Actually, redirection is more effective than timeout. Your pediatrician said one thing, a parenting book said another, and the comments section of a Facebook group said something you genuinely cannot believe was written by a real person. And the maddening part is that each piece of advice made sense when you read it, which is exactly why none of it has worked, because the logic behind most of it misses what's actually driving the behavior. This isn't a discipline problem. Your child isn't defiant. They haven't decided to be violent. What's happening is something far more biological than that. And once you understand what it actually is, everything changes, including what you do in the 2 seconds after it happens. So let me explain what's actually going on in your toddler's brain. The part of the brain responsible for impulse control, emotional regulation, and problem solving is called the prefrontal cortex. In adults, this is the system that says, "I'm frustrated, but I'm going to take a breath instead of flipping a table." In toddlers, that system is barely online. Developmental neuroscientists confirm it's one of the last brain regions to fully mature. It won't be complete until their mid-20s. At age 2, it's essentially still under construction. What does have full access? The amygdala, the emotional alarm system, the part that fires, big feeling, emergency. So when your toddler gets frustrated, overstimulated, or overwhelmed, and they cannot find the words because language at this age is still limited, the alarm goes off. And the only tools their developing body knows how to use are physical ones. Bite, hit, push. Here's where your reaction becomes critical. Researchers at 0 to 3 and the American Academy of Pediatrics have consistently found that a high attention response in the moment actually reinforces the behavior. Not because your child is manipulative, but because their brain just registered. That action caused a very big, very interesting reaction. I watched a dad at the park do everything right by every standard parenting measure. He got down on his son's level. He was calm. He was present. He explained everything clearly. And his kid bit again the next day. And the day after that, because even a calm, loving, perfectly delivered response was still the biggest event of that child's afternoon. To a toddler's developing nervous system, attention, even careful, corrective attention, is the most powerful reward there is. So let's talk about the specific reactions that are accidentally making things worse. The first is the dramatic response. Picture this. Your toddler bites a friend at a play date, and you gasp, rush over, raise your voice, and spend the next several minutes explaining with full emotional intensity that biting is not okay. You're making eye contact, you're getting on their level, you're asking, why would you do that? Your face is expressive, your voice is loud, and every ounce of your attention is locked onto them. Here's what's actually happening in their brain during that response. It's lighting up, because they just received the most concentrated attention they've had all day. They don't understand the words, they can't process the lecture, but they absolutely absorb this. Bite something, and the whole world stops and focuses entirely on me. You haven't punished the behavior, you've accidentally advertised it. The second mistake is trying to reason with a flooded brain when your toddler is mid-meltdown or right in the aftermath of a hitting incident. They are not in a state to hear, process, or learn anything. Cortisol and adrenaline have flooded their system. The prefrontal cortex, the part that would need to be engaged for any lesson to land, is essentially offline. A full, heartfelt explanation about feelings and why we use our words is completely wasted in that moment. Not because your child doesn't love you, because their brain is physiologically unable to receive it right now. That conversation needs to happen later, when they're calm, regulated, and actually reachable. The third piece most parents miss is where their attention goes after the incident. The child who is hurt needs your comfort, your focus, your energy immediately and visibly. And the child who bit needs to notice, in real time, that the biting produced nothing. No surge of attention, no extended interaction, not even negative attention. In behavioral science, this is called extinction, removing the reward. And it is one of the most powerful tools available for changing behavior in toddlers. You're not abandoning the child who bit. You're teaching them through experience rather than words that this particular action doesn't get them what they were looking for. So let's get practical. Here's exactly what I want you to do the next time it happens. First, manage your face and your voice before anything else. Your instinct is to react. Take a breath. Keep your expression neutral. Your calm is the first and most important tool you have. Second, say the boundary once, firmly, quietly, briefly. Biting hurts. We don't bite. That's it. One sentence, not a speech, not a question, said calmly, and then you move on. Third, shift your full attention to the child who was hurt. Comfort them. Engage with them. Let the child who bit watch that happen. Your body language is communicating everything. Biting doesn't get you more of me. Fourth, once everyone is calm, 10 minutes later, 30 minutes later, that's when you do the teaching. Get on their level. Name the feeling that probably triggered it. You were really frustrated. You wanted that toy. When you feel like that, you can come and tell me. Simple, specific, calm. This is when their brain can actually absorb something. Here's what to expect. It's probably not going to feel like it's working at first. The behavior might even spike. This is a documented phenomenon called an extinction burst, where behavior gets worse before it gets better because the child is testing whether the old strategy works. If they just try harder. Stay the course. Most parents who apply this consistently see a meaningful reduction in incidents within 2 to 3 weeks. You'll know it's working when the episodes get shorter, when your toddler starts coming to you instead of acting out, and when you occasionally catch them stopping themselves. Those moments are the milestones. Watch for them. Here's what I want you to take from this. Your toddler isn't broken. They aren't on a path to anything frightening. They are to, or close to it, with a brain doing exactly what a 2-year-old brain does, flooding with emotion, grabbing for any available tool, and learning from what happens next. You are the person who decides what happens next. That is genuinely powerful. The advice you've been following wasn't wrong because you're a bad parent. It was wrong because it didn't account for the neuroscience. It treated this like a behavior problem when it's actually a communication problem. A "my brain isn't built yet" problem, and those require a completely different response. I know how hard it is to stay calm in that moment. I know how exposed it feels when your child bites someone in public. You haven't damaged your child by reacting emotionally. You've just been working with incomplete information. That changes today. Here's your one thing for tonight. Decide how you're going to sound. Not what you're going to say, you already know that. Just how you're going to sound. Calm, quiet, firm. Picture the moment. Picture yourself staying steady in it. That 5 seconds of mental preparation is worth more than any book on the subject. 3 weeks from now, you're going to be in a situation that would have completely unraveled you before. And you're going to feel yourself stay steady. Your toddler is going to look at you, and something is going to be different. Not fixed. Toddlers aren't fixed, but shifted. That shift is what growth looks like, and it started right here. If this helped you today, subscribe for more science-backed parenting content and share this with a parent who needs it. Because trust me, they're out there feeling just as alone as you did before you pressed play. You've got this.